Hello and welcome, friends. Today I'm featuring cards from the August 2020 My Monthly Hero Arts kit. The kit features a large 6x8 stamp set with large images, and it's all about my happy place, paradise, enjoying your family. There are several large images that I'll be using in my card today. There's also a greetings from Fancy Die. There are also 5 postcards and a reactive ink palette, Summer Twilight. It's really beautiful colors. Come on, let's go craft. For my first card, I've made a trifold card that with slimline card measurements. So folded, it'll be 3 3/4 by 8.5 inches. And I started with a sheet of canson XL watercolor paper and trimmed it down to 11 1/4 by 8.5. I used the My Favorite Things mini cloud stencil and some Distress Oxide tumbled glass ink to make my clouds on my panel. I want to create a beautiful tropical scene where the family's out enjoying each other, enjoying the day. I also use the My Favorite Things grass stencil and Mowed Lawn Distress Oxide ink to form the grass at the bottom of the panel. Here I'm trying to determine if I want to rotate the stencil and use other parts of it, but I decide against that and instead will just blend in more of the green Mowed Lawn ink. After I'm done with the Mowed Lawn, I will go back to the Distress Oxide tumbled glass and blend that in so that the end of the sky meets the beginning of the grass. And I'm actually blending pretty lightly here. I don't want a lot of ink here. I'm scoring my panel at 3 3/4 and then again at 7.5. And then I'll go ahead and fold that to form the panel. I learned from Nicole Spohr that it's best to score after you've applied your ink so that your score lines are not harshly stained with ink. I die cut the large greetings from Fancy Die 3 times out of 110-pound black cardstock and used craft glue to affix the 3 to each other. And I set that aside to dry. Next, I started laying out my scene, laying all of my cutouts on the panel to get my design the way I want it. I colored my images off camera using my alcohol markers. Lost a little footage here. After getting my scene the way I want it, I did use one of the grass stamps in the kit to stamp little grass patches here and there on the panel. Then I start to affix my pieces in position with craft glue. I get a stain on my third panel to the left of the lady, and we'll cover that with another butterfly. The palm tree is a die that I had in my stash. I die cut that twice and colored it in with alcohol markers. I cut one of the tree pairs apart and used it in the first and second panels. I found it easiest to affix my large images to the trees in the background, and then applying glue over the entire image. It just helped me to keep the location of the images. Here I place my blue butterfly over the unwanted ink spot on my panel. And I'm using a black Sakura gel pen to add a little textured dots to the image of the butterfly. I've applied craft glue and affixed my greetings from die cut on the front panel. Now I'm placing my happy place on the inside panel, and I had to fold the back panel in to fit it into my Misty, and I'm going to use Gina K's black amalgam ink to stamp my happy place. I ended up going back and adding some birds from a prior kit on the front panel. The second card is also a Slimline card. I wanted a summary but masculine theme, so I started with the male image in the stamp set. My card base measures 3 3/4 by 8 inches. I actually got distracted and cut my focal panel down too short. So I had to adjust my layering panel as well as my card base to fit the panel. And my yellow panel measures 3.5 by 7 7/8. And then I trimmed my focal panel to 3 1/4 by 7.5. Here I'm finishing up a Slimline envelope that I made using 65-pound cardstock. I made it off camera, but you can actually check out the full details on making the envelopes. I will link the DIY Slimline envelope tutorial below as well as on the screen at the end of the video. Now let's take a closer look at both cards I made using this kit. This is such a peaceful, relaxing scene. I just love it. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed this video using the August 2020 kit. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. Until next time, good day, friends.